Good morning, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor, bringing you another video on how to raise your vibration so you can live your best life. Wanted to talk with you today about the 3 reasons why you may still be suffering. If you have been on the path for a long time and you still feel like you are struggling to get to a place of predominant joy and bliss over struggle and hardship, then this video is for you. So we've all heard the term, what you resist persists. We have also heard that suffering equals pain plus resistance. So suffering is optional, and our suffering comes through resistance. And when we experience something that is challenging in our lives, it can be and should be, and I reserve that word to be used very, very infrequently because we don't want to should all over ourselves. But there are ways that things are intended to be, and this is one of them, that pain is intended to be very temporary. And that when we resist the moment, or we are in a struggle, or in the masculine, in the doing and the needing to control, that is where we suffer. That it is in the surrender when we find freedom. So the number 3 ways, the top 3 ways that I see spiritual people doing this in their lives, the top 3 reasons that they're experiencing more suffering and not moving into predominant joy and bliss, which is possible, which is how it's intended to be. There's 3 big reasons, most common reasons that float to the top. Number 1 is refusing to go into the shadows, refusing to do the healing work that is necessary around the traumas and the triggers, refusing to look at the darkness. And there is a fear that comes up with that, the fear of having to feel the pain, the fear of having to recall the past, the belief that the brain has convinced us that that will kill us, or that it will overwhelm us or overtake us. And the truth is, when we go into the shadows, when we do the work to go in to heal the pain, it is far less energy than it has taken to stuff that down and to live with it your entire life. That if you are just going to be willing to take that moment to say, here and now, today, I'm going into this and we're going to heal this, and I'm going to be a freaking hunter, and I'm going to hunt that freaking root of the fear weed, and I'm going to pull it and yank it up and become courageous and become brave and say, no more. I put my freaking foot down. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on YouTube, but I would right now. We have got to become empowered and take back our authority and our dominion over our body and our emotions and our feelings and our manifestation mechanism, which is based on our body and our emotions. And when we go through life without the willingness to look at the fear, to look at the trauma, and to go into the shadows, we literally are walking around like human beings with glass shards in our body, like trying to navigate the world without getting triggered, without agitating these traumas that are in our body, for fear of, if I move wrong, it might puncture a vital organ, I will die. And that's essentially what the brain has convinced us of. And so the refusal to go into the fear, the refusal to address the shadows, the refusal to heal the wounds is absolutely number 1. Number 2 is thought patterns. If you follow me for a while, you know I talk a lot about reprogramming the subconscious and also the conscious mind. That yes, healing the triggers, using brain spotting to go in there and remove the traumas and heal the triggers, that's how we reprogram the subconscious. But we can also reprogram the conscious mind. That we have something called dendrites in the brain. They're like tree-like structures. They have sort of a stem and then they branch out. Neural pathways is another way of saying it. We can reprogram those. Neuroplasticity is a real thing. And literally, by choosing to think a new thought pattern and to catch the old, we are creating new dendrites in our brain. And by refusing to use the old, we literally allow them to dissolve into hot air. They just disappear. And so when we are resisting the work that it takes, because it can take up to 90 days just to get a new nub of a neural pathway, up to I believe 6 months to get the stem, and then you're beyond 6 months you're starting to branch out into the tree-like structure. So it takes diligence, it takes effort. We can't be impatient and in victimhood and say, oh, poor me, I tried that for a week. It doesn't work that way. That we have to keep catching those thoughts and reframing them. And so step one of dealing with the trauma is dealing with the emotions, allowing the emotions to come up and healing them. Step two is the thought processes that we will continue to go to these old thought habits. Every time you have an external stimuli that traditionally would have sent you down the thought habit of, oh, poor me, or why does that always happen to me, or life is always hard, or life is just this way. Those are thought habits. And because you have such a predominant neural pathway or dendrite in your brain, your thoughts or your energy, your electrical impulses are going to go to that dendrite very quickly and very easily because it is so predominant. And so this is how we do the work around reprogramming the conscious mind so that the next time we have external stimuli that would have sent us down a rabbit hole of negativity, we can inadvertently and over time very easily go towards the positive. I don't think inadvertently was the right word, but you understand my intention. Number 3 is I know this already, that so many spiritual beings have been in hermit mode, we have been in healing mode, we have been secluded and isolated, and that is well and good for a time. But we consume all of this information and we hold it in our cognitive prefrontal cortex, but we don't embody it. Now, I can say these first two to you and you can go, yeah, I know that already. But have you really done it? Because if you're still struggling and if your life is not predominantly joy and bliss, then there is more to address. And to say, I know it already, dismisses everything that you have learned. It literally does not allow it to come in and to help you and to serve you. Are you truly sitting in meditation every day? Are you truly sitting with the emotions as they come up and looking at the triggers as gifts and saying, wow, I'm so excited. Thank you for triggering me. I get to heal this today. Are you doing the work to catch the negative thoughts and reprogram into new dendrites and neural pathways? Are you eating the right foods? Are you consuming alcohol and caffeine and in excess? Are you doing all of the things? Are you truly embodying? Are you truly being a leader? Because a leader is embodying. It is acting and living out the things that you know to be true and the things you want to teach. And the truth is, at the end of the day, that we are not going to change the world with our words. That telling people stuff really doesn't have nearly the impact as being an example and allowing them to come to you and say, you're shining bright, you're glowing, what are you doing? How are you so happy? And then the words have an impact. When people are open and they've asked for it, they've opened to receiving. So if you're still struggling, and this most definitely one of these three or all three are a challenge for you, then I highly suggest reaching out. Healing trauma cannot be done alone. That there are patterns that are in your subconscious brain, the trauma is in your body, and you need someone to help you spot the pattern, see how it's playing out in your life, and facilitate something called brain spotting. So brain spotting allows us to use this pointer to, through the optical nerve, access the subconscious brain and start to bring up the trauma from the body and work it through the body and also the brain at the same time. You must be willing to say, I deserve this, that I signed up, we as light workers signed up for difficult life paths so that it could give us the skills and the gifts and the strengths that we need to be able to help the world. The trouble is we've got a lot of light workers who are not able to move past the trauma, who've got this glass ceiling of not enoughness or fear of being seen, fear of rejection, whatever your term is. Mine was I'm bad, right? That religious upbringing, my father who told me I was a sinner and in shame and going to hell all the time, caused this belief of I'm bad to play out in every aspect of my life, and it prevented me from receiving. So only when I was willing to sit with a therapist week after week after week, brain spotting after brain spotting after brain spotting, and bringing up guilt and shame and trauma, that it finally has desensitized. It is no longer an issue, and I am open to receiving. I've reprogrammed the neural pathways. I've done this work. I can tell you this only because I've embodied it and lived it. So I highly encourage you. My purpose, the whole reason this channel exists, is to help you step into your purpose. And doing those three things, embodying it, reprogramming your conscious mind, and reprogramming your subconscious mind / healing traumas, are the three ways, the three biggest ways that you can address today, the steps you can take to step into your life purpose. And so I'm here for you. If you need me, you know where to find me. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video. Like, subscribe, and share to return the reciprocating energy that is being offered to you. I appreciate your being with me and coming on this journey, and I would love to assist you if necessary. Otherwise, I know that ample resources will be available to you because they are always there in every moment. I love you so much. Take care.